everyone, welcome to today's lunch lesson live. I'm so glad you're here. Give me a little thumbs up or a wave if you're here. Let me know if you're watching on the live, just type live below, or if you're watching on the replay afterwards. I'd love to know who comes in the day of and who's catching me on the replay. Awesome, so glad you're here. So today we are going to talk about how to get more clients. Raise your hand if you could use more clients, right? I think as business owners, we are always looking for, right, more clients, wanting to help more people, wanting to get more income, right? That's the goal of a business. We are here to make money, right? That is the purpose of a business. Yes, we want to help people as well, and we want to reach as much impact as possible. So today we are going to talk about the 3 best ways to get more clients online. So stick around. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks so much to everyone who voted, right? Every Tuesday I put out a little poll in my group. You're welcome to suggest different topics that you feel like are coming up for your business, questions that you have about whether it's marketing, social media, mindset, sales, any of those things that you feel like are coming up or are roadblocks in your business of preventing you from moving forward, right? If you're feeling kind of stuck, these are times to get questions or get new information or get new strategy, right? So feel free to suggest any topics below, or on that Tuesday poll, you can definitely suggest topics or vote for the ones that I suggest. I'd love to hear what's prevalent for people, what's current, what are people wanting to know about their business. So feel free to suggest some topics, or you can always reach out to me with your questions. I would love to touch on something that's pertinent to you and your business to be helpful, right? That's what we're here for. We all rise together. We are here to learn and grow together. So ask away, ask your questions. All right, this is for, if you are here, this is for action takers, right? I love working with action takers and go-getters. If you are a coach, if you are a business owner, a mompreneur, you are an action taker. You are resourceful. You are ready to move your business forward. So definitely we want to think about when we watch these free videos, right? We want to get the most out of them as possible, right? So I always try to say, stay in your abundant mindset. If you can just think for a minute, okay, what does abundance mean for me? Abundance for me means that all things are possible and you have the power to change, right? I have the power to make moves in my life and all things are possible. So the same goes for you. Put your abundant mindset on, right? And try to stay in that while we're watching this video, because the point is that we want to think about what our current habits are and what action items we can make today. What changes can we make? If we are open to change, if we are ready to make moves, we have to be willing to change a little bit, right? If things aren't working, it's not about doing more of that thing, right? We have to be willing to change a little bit, to be open to new strategies and open to changing our tactics if it's not working, right? If things are working for you, right, then no need to change, obviously. But most of us, if you're here, right, we want to move forward, we want to grow, and that's where we have to get new strategies and new knowledge to move ourselves forward, right? So I would charge you with writing down 2 action items from this video that you are going to apply to or that you can apply, or that you're thinking about applying to your business today. Just 2 items, just 2 things that stuck out with you, and I would love to hear them. You can message me privately if you want, or drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear what 2 action items you took away from this video that you can apply to your business, or that were aha moments, right? Oh, I hadn't thought about that before, right? I would love to hear what resonates with you and what 2 action items you can take away today. All right, you're an action taker, you're a go-getter, let's do this. All right, if you are new here, my name is Christina, right? I've been helping businesses for the last 10 years. My husband and I started a little bike shop, coffee shop back in 2014, right? And that was after my first little Etsy shop back in 2010. So I've really been pushing businesses online, right, for the last 15 years or so. And what I quickly realized, right, many of you are realizing this or have already realized this for a while now, it's giant online, right? Online is a really amazing space, but it's huge. It is really hard to be seen, find your audience, and get people to respond to your business, right? It's a challenge, it really is. And if anyone tells you differently, right, they either had something going for them or who knows, there's some part of every business that is a struggle, for sure. So you're not alone. If you feel like things aren't working or that you feel like you're stuck, you're not alone, right? All of us have been stuck at some point or another. We have to gain new knowledge in order to move ourselves forward. That's really the key. So my husband and I opened this little bike shop in 2014, and we loved it. We loved being a part of this community. I loved getting to know our customers, but we really quickly saw that if we built this beautiful bike shop, brick and mortar store, people didn't just come in the door, right? It's not if I build it, people will come, unfortunately, right? Many of us think as business owners, if I build my website, people will come. If I set up my social media platforms, people will come, right? And it is such a hard truth that unfortunately it doesn't always work like that, right? That can be effective in kind of a placeholder. Here's my little spot on the internet. I'm gonna carve it out and hope, right? And hope that the right people will find me. And we're gonna talk a lot about this, right? I was stuck in this mindset for years. At the bike shop though, right, it was very apparent, I need people coming in my door now. So it was almost a learn, right? I had to learn by fire, I say, that I had to go where my customers were. I had to change my tactics. I had to get to them. I had to reach my customers. I couldn't just sit and wait for people to walk in my door, right? And that's where marketing comes in, right? So we got really creative at the bike shop. Thankfully, here in our little town, Facebook groups is a big thing for local communities, right? I'm sure many of you have local Facebook groups that you're involved with. So we created a Facebook group back then for the bike shop, and it was really successful. We could do events, you know, we planned different bike rides, and it was really great, right? The Facebook group was a really great way for us to build our community, get repeat customers, reach our customers, and let them know where we were, right? That was really important. We did a lot of other creative ways too, right? If anyone has any local questions, right, I would love to share any of my local ideas. I love thinking about how to get small businesses involved in local communities. So we got really creative, and we had a lot of success in that regard. We were only open for 2 years, unfortunately, right? If anyone's had a brick and mortar store, it can be really heart-wrenching. But we learned a lot, right? After we closed our doors, I turned it into my passion to help other business owners, because I didn't want to see another women business owner have to close their doors, right? I really believe that with the right knowledge and the right tools, we can all rise together, right? We really can support each other and grow. I really believe that. So right with the bike shop, we had utilized the Facebook group and a lot of other marketing tactics, but I really think that Facebook group was really valuable. And I wish I had remembered that. When I then turned my passion into helping other business owners, for the next 6 years, I struggled with wanting to be seen online, trying to be seen online, but more so focusing on my customers. I wasn't focused on making my business known, right? I would get a few customers here, a few customers there, but I was focused on telling them, hey, Facebook groups are great, right? You've got to do Facebook groups. I more so told them you should be in Facebook groups, but I never really I said, you know, yes, you could have your own Facebook group, but I wasn't really as bought into it, right? And I wish I had remembered that lesson from the bike shop, because it was so valuable, and I don't know why it took me so long to start this Facebook group, right? I didn't start it until last September, and it has grown so much, and I'm so excited you're here. But it is such a an underutilized tool, right, for business owners, that I think so many of us business owners have created a Facebook group or have thought about it and not got it going, right? And not utilizing it to really generate leads. And that's what, right? I love talking about Facebook groups. That is really your gold mine. If you have a Facebook group or are thinking of starting one, definitely, if it's not working for you, feel free to ask questions. Let me know why it's not working or why you think it's not working, and I'd be happy to share some tips, because I really think that's your gold mine. I really think that is the best tool right now to turn those leads into paying clients. So we'll talk a lot about, and you hear me say, over on your social media profiles, right? Many of us notice your own habits, right? You're scrolling, you might like, but very rarely are you clicking, especially on Instagram, right? It's just not clickable, unfortunately. And that's where the Facebook group really comes in. You can not only qualify who gets in your group, right? Over on your profiles, you don't know what spammers are following you for zero reason, zero interest in your business, right? They're just following you because they liked your colors, or who knows, right? They want their numbers up. In your Facebook group, you really can control who gets in. That's the whole point, is you get to control who gets in, and you can collect their information on entry, right? So you can ask questions. Do you want this freebie? Drop your email, all those types of things. So just by them entering your group, they have taken action, right? And I really think that turns a follower into a lead, because now you have their email, or at least you have their Facebook profile and you can follow up, right? That is really, and they are in the group. The Facebook group is really the best tool to notify people, right? You get a different notification for groups than obviously a business page, right? Unfortunately. Definitely your friends obviously get more notified than a group, but a group is far more in the notifications than just a regular business page or that kind of thing, right? So it's way easier to notify people about things going on in your group. And it's just a really great tool to capture your audience. I really call it the sales funnel, right? It's really to utilize it as your sales funnel to turn those followers into qualified leads. That's really the goal. So I love the Facebook group, right? There are other ways to do this without the Facebook group, but I think it's the easiest for sure. So with the bike shop, right, we learned we couldn't just post and hope. We had to use that Facebook group and go where they are. So that's really the first tip that I'll share. I'm going to share 3 tips of how to best get more clients. That's why you're here. You're wanting to get more clients, right? The first tip is really to go where they are. Like I said, at the bike shop, we learned really quickly we couldn't just stay back and hope, right? To me, that's really a passive approach. And I wish I had remembered that from the bike shop, because after the bike shop closed and I started helping other businesses, I spent the next, like I said, 6 or 8 years posting and hoping, right? And it's a really hard place to be. If you're stuck in this posting and hoping, it can be a really long, hard road, right? Because you're kind of essentially waiting to go viral, right? You're like, I'm just gonna focus on my content. I'm just gonna make sure my message is perfect. I'm gonna make sure my branding is perfect. So many of us business owners get stuck in this mindset that this is all I can control. If I'm not getting customers in, I can perfect my post, I can make it prettier, I can work on my products, I can change, maybe I need to change my product, maybe I need to change my offer. We really get focused on all of the things that we think we can control, right? And so sometimes we can waste years in this perfecting my posts. I'm just gonna hope it lands on the right ears, hope I go viral, right? Or hope I get a whole bunch of people interested. And it's really hard, quite honestly, to be seen with all the different algorithms, and you're not gonna beat the algorithm, right? You can do different things to try to overcome the algorithm, absolutely, but it's gonna change tomorrow, right? There's nothing really that you can do about the algorithm wanting to be in people's feeds, right? And rightly so. If you're on social media, we are all addicted, right, to social media because it shows us more of what we like. Well, if not enough people are liking and commenting on your posts, they're not going to see it, right? It's not that they don't like it or they don't want to comment on it. They're not seeing it, right? And that's a really hard thing to overcome. So those are the challenges, right, of having just a regular social media profile or a business page. That's where the Facebook group can really capture that audience, and then you have different tools to notify your people in your Facebook group. So that's really the tip number 1, is to go where they are. So if you're stuck in this kind of posting and hoping, you're not going to them, right? And this can look a lot of different ways. If you just have your social media profiles, definitely think about, okay, who is responding to my posts, right? If it's only a couple people, right, that'll be an easy task. If it's nobody, right, then you've got to really think about, well, who's following me and how do I get more people to follow me? So over on Instagram, it's a really easy place to, I say, find your target audience, right? And if you're interested in more Instagram tricks, I have another training on that. But over on Instagram, you can search for users, you can search for hashtags and really find your people on Instagram, and then follow them, right? Follow their followers, follow your competitors' followers, right? Follow the people that you want, and most likely they will follow you back. Comment on their stuff, right? And they will most likely comment back, like their stuff, and they will like you back. It's very reciprocal, I think, online. It can be very one-sided, right? Sometimes if you're really a giver, you can really spend all day, right, commenting and posting on commenting and liking other people's profiles and followers and not getting as much return, but you will be seen more for sure. So that's one way to really go to them. If people are liking your posts, if people are commenting on your posts and they are in your target audience, there is nothing wrong with reaching out to them. That is not a cold DM. They already saw your stuff and liked it, right? I think that's really valuable. So I really believe that if that's one of the bigger lessons, right, that I think I learned, is that instead of just a passive approach, it's really taking a direct, active approach, right? I'm going to them, go where they are. At the bike shop, we really had to go where our customers were, right? I talk a lot about bringing coloring pages to the daycares because we wanted to reach more families, right? Going to the bike groups, right? And making different bike rides for them, figuring out what they need, go to them. So definitely with your own business online, especially coaches, if you're wanting to build relationships, you want to go to them, right? Go where they are. So if that's on Instagram, if that's where they are and they're liking your stuff, send them a DM. And what my favorite DM is to invite them to your Facebook group, because again, you want to be able to capture their information. So I think inviting them to your Facebook group is a really neutral invitation, right? It's not sign up for my freebie, it's not buy my thing, it's hey, I'm sharing, I saw you were interested in my blah blah blah, I'm sharing more free resources and tips over in my Facebook group, come on over, we'd love to have you, right? Or I saw that you were posting about this, we're talking similarly over here, you know, to help each other grow, blah blah blah. So there's different ways to invite people that doesn't have to sound spammy, right? I get it. I think so many business owners, we get stuck in this, well, I don't want to, I've gotten those spammy DMs, right? I don't want to be that spammer. I get it. And we don't want to be pushy, especially as women. We're told not to be so direct and not to be pushy. Nobody wants to be sold to all the time, but there are ways for networking, right? There are ways to connect. Someone needs your services and they might not even know it yet, right? And they definitely don't know you exist. So that's your job, right? Is to figure out a vessel to warm them up and get them into your system, get them into your realm so you can warm them up, nurture them to your beautiful services and your brand, right? That's who you are, and that's how you're going to sell to them, is being yourself and letting them know who you are, right? We can't just wait for them to find us, unfortunately, right? It doesn't quite work like that. I still think it's important to post, right? I'm not saying don't post on your social media profiles. By all means, it's really important to have a space there. But again, very few people may be seeing it. And if they are, you want to capture that audience in a way. And the best way to do that is to get their information or get them to your Facebook group. That way you can tag them, you can send them a messenger, you can, get their email address and really follow up. So that's really the key, is to go where they are. So that's really tip number one. We kind of went all over for that one. So the second one, and we kind of touched on this too, is you need to warm them up, right? We've all gotten that DM where it's like, hey, buy my thing. Whew, that is way too quick, right? That is, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you offer. I am not ready to buy from you, right? That is way too abrupt, I think, in my opinion. I still think it's even abrupt if you've never talked to someone before. If you just drop a, hey, here's my freebie. Also, to me, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you offer, I'm not even interested, that feels too abrupt to me as well. If someone has said they're interested in your freebie, by all means, send them a DM and, hey, I saw that, thanks for your interest in my freebie, here it is. That's completely different, right? That's not a cold DM. The cold DM is hard, I think, for a lot of people, and I would not call it a cold DM if they have shown interest in something, right? If they have shown interest in your post, in your video, in your story, that's definitely a place where you would want to follow up and be like, hey, I saw that you liked my blah, blah, blah. Come on over to the Facebook group. That's what I really think the invite can be soft and, right, very neutral. There's no responsibility out of them. They don't have to join, right? All they have to do is maybe join. They don't even have to answer your questions if they don't want to. You can decide who gets in. If they're in your target audience and they haven't answered your questions, I think that's okay to let them in, because they could still be warmed up to your system, and you can always reach out to them on a DM. Thanks for joining my group. I saw that you were involved in blah, blah, blah. How's this going for you? Whatever that looks like, right? So there are still ways to kind of warm them up. But that's really what the Facebook group does, is it is your special community, and it should be different than your profile, right? Your social media profiles are really just like your public placeholders, right? This is me, this is my business, hey, I'm over here, this is what I got going on. In your Facebook group, it's really about your audience. You really want to be warming them up and getting them in the mindset of whatever it is you offer, right? So if you're talking about health and wellness, you want to ask questions about health and wellness. Who feels like, perimenopause is hard, right? Who feels like meal planning is a struggle with kids, right? Who feels like things change after 40, right? Whatever you're talking about in your group, that's what you want to plan to warm your audience up. And that's where I think the Facebook group does a really great, easy job of warming your audience up, because you can ask questions, you can engage. This is where you're building relationships with people. And if you're wanting to be a coach, right, you really want to get in front of people. You want people used to your face, the way you talk, right? This is how you're going to coach with them anyway. You want to get them used to you. And this is how you can do that in your group. And I really think your group is like your little VIP audience, right? It's really, you've decided, you've qualified those people coming into your group, so they're not just spammers, right, over on your social media profile. They are your hot leads, people interested in your topic, and this is where you can ask them questions, nurture them, figure out where they're at on their journey, right? If you're talking about business, whether you're talking about mindset, whatever it is that you're talking about, parenting, you can really warm them up into your system, right? You're nurturing them into whether they know it's a problem or not, right? You're going to help them discover that this is a problem, and then you're the solution, right? So all of those questions that you're asking, that's what you're getting them in the mindset. Oh, I don't, I do struggle with weight loss, or I do struggle with hot flashes, or I do struggle with meal planning, or it is hard when my kids aren't doing what I want them to do. All those things, right? The whole point of your coaching services is you are offering a solution, and sometimes those people don't know, your audience might not know what their problem is or what they need, and that's where you can kind of warm them up to your solution. So that is number 2, right? Is you want to warm them up in some way. So if you don't have a Facebook group, right, and I would really encourage you to think about starting one if you haven't already. But another way to do this is with your newsletter, right? And even if you do have a Facebook group, I would still consider doing a newsletter if you haven't already, because that's where you can remind them, hey, this is what I got going on, And I know a lot of people think that email might be dead, right? A lot of us get a lot of spammy emails, and that's okay, right? But the point is, you want to let them know, keep you top of mind, right? That's really the point. You want to let them know that, hey, if you're struggling with this problem, I'm still here, right? I'm still here. Hey, if this is a problem for you, I'm still here. They know they're going to recognize your name, even if all they do is read the subject line, right? They're going to recognize your name, see the subject line, and even if they don't open them, eventually they might remember, oh yeah, Christina, I know she can help me with my business, right? Hopefully, if any of you are on my newsletter, hopefully you feel that way, that, oh, I could reach out to her if I have a question on this. I know she's talking about this. I could always, she's there if I need her. So that's the whole point, right? And maybe the right offer eventually will reach the person who needs you right then. That's really the goal. But if you never get their email address, that can never happen, right? So it's really, the point is nurturing and warming them up with your email list and with your Facebook group. So that's tip number 2, is you really want to be able to warm people up. And we all have heard this, right? It takes many touches for someone to buy, right? It's really, like I said, way too abrupt for you to send a cold DM and be like, hey, do you need this right now? Can you buy my thing? Hey, here I am. I don't even know you, right? So it's really abrupt. You really got to warm people up to your system, to yourself, to your brand, to your services, to your offers, right? And that's where I think the Facebook group is the easiest way to do that. So that's tip number 2, is warming them up. And the last tip number 3, is how to get more clients, is follow up, right? I know that might seem kind of obvious, but it's not always obvious. And I really think that it is hard for many of us. We think, oh, if they said yes, but then they never responded to my question, right? And I think as women, we often get discouraged and think, oh, well, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to burden them. They get so many spammies. I don't want to get spammer messages, right? All of those things. And it's hard, right? It's hard to kind of get over that mindset of, well, I know they need me, right? I know they need me. They said they were interested. I'm just going to continue following up, right? It can be really hard and discouraging, right? And it's okay if they say, hey, no, I'm not interested. Great. But if you never follow up, they might have forgotten you, right? They might be going through something, right? They might be having a stressful time, or it's seasonal, right? And they went on vacation, they forgot all about you, and you've got to remind them, right? That's really what the follow-up is. I would say most entrepreneurs are not following up enough, right? Most likely you are not following up enough. So if you feel like there's a gap in your conversations, or you feel like you have had a lot of interest, but no one is turning into clients, that's really where the follow-up, right? And the follow-through. So if someone said they were interested in your freebie, by all means, you better make sure you get them that freebie. And then I would even take it a step further and follow up with them about that freebie. Hey, did it work for you? Was it helpful? How's it working? Blah, 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 all those things, right? That's really the piece of, because they might get your freebie and then forget all about you. They may never see another post of yours again, right? And to you, you're like, hey, I gave you that freebie. Aren't you interested in more? They don't know what more, right? Make it easy for your customers. Follow up with them so they know exactly where you are when they need you. They know exactly what you offer when they need you, because they're gonna need you, right? For sure. So that is really tip number 3, is to follow up and remind them who you are, what you offer, and how you can help them, right? That's really the trick. So those are really the 3 things that I think are key to getting more clients and turning followers into paying customers. Is really, number 1, go where they are. So if you are not reaching out to a number of people every day, then you don't know who's interested in your offers, right? Or services. If you are not sending messages or responding to comments, then you know, those are your leads. Those are the people that are interested. So definitely think about sending more messages, following up more, right? That's really the key. If someone has shown interest in your posts, that's the step, is to go to them, right? And have some kind of neutral invitation. I think the Facebook group is a neutral invitation. You could use a newsletter here as well, right? Hey, I saw that you were interested in my post on this. I send out a weekly newsletter on tips and resources, how to redecorate your home, how to get ready for Christmas, you know, whatever that is, how to meal plan when the kids are going back to school, whatever that looks like, right? Would you be interested in my email list, right? It's a free thing, I never spam, blah, blah, blah. However you wanted to address that, right? But I think the Facebook group is a really neutral invitation, and the newsletter could be that as well, if you didn't want to do a Facebook group, right? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 was warm them up. And this is really where your freebie is a great place. In your entry questions, right? There should definitely be some type of freebie to drop their email below. Or in your DMs, right? If they liked one of your posts, or you know, did a story about it, or about your freebie or something like that, definitely follow up with them. Hey, I saw that you were interested in my freebie. Here's the sign up, you know, whatever that looks like. So you definitely want to warm them up. So if they're already in your group, this is where you can ask questions to get them in the mindset of whatever problem it is you have a solution for, right? You really want to get them thinking about, why is this a problem, right? Why would they need you? Why, you know, what is it that you offer, and why is this a problem? And really, you want to get to know your audience. That's why I think the Facebook group is such a valuable tool, because you can do polls, you can ask questions, you can really get people engaged, and you get feedback. What are people interested in, right? What are people asking questions about? Where are people at in their journey, right? If you're offering, you know, wellness tips, right? Where are people at? Are people more concerned about you know, meals, or are they doing exercise? Where are people focused, right? Are people still doing keto? Are people, you know, worried about calories? Like, where are people at? Everyone's different, right? So you really want to get to know your audience, and that's really what the Facebook group does, is it really allows you to get feedback from your audience and get to know them, right? They're your VIP hot leads that you want to get to know and warm them up to your services and offers. So that's tip number 2, is warming them up, right? You've really got to have a way, multiple touches. You can't just meet someone and boom, turn them into a client, right? Maybe that would be great, right? If you're so magnetic and inspiring, right? That would be the goal, is to eventually have this perfectly aligned video that people turn into paying clients directly, right? But more often than not, it takes people a few touches to see a post, like a post, hear from you, start a message. Oh yeah, that Christina chick. Oh yeah, I've talked to her before, right? Oh yeah, she has that solution that I need. Oh, this is a problem, I need that. So you really have to warm them up. That's really the goal. And then the third one is to follow up, right? You can warm people up and then they know that they need you, but it's really about the follow up, right? Hey, do you want to hop on a call? Hey, I know you're interested in this. I know this is still a struggle. Like, let's talk about it, right? You really want to remind them, follow up. And so whatever that looks like, I know this is hard. If you're getting a lot of leads in, this can be overwhelming, right? So you've got to have some kind of system in place. And that's what I love helping entrepreneurs create, is create systems, right? I'm an engineer by trade, so I love systems. And so to create some type of lead gathering spreadsheet, or if it's a tool, whatever it looks like for you, I think using your CRM is a great way to add labels. You know, you can put people on different email lists. You can follow up in a way that makes sense to you. but figure out how to keep track of where your leads are, right? Who you've sent what, where they are, what you're going to say next, all of those things. To be able to have a system to kind of follow up with the people that are, you know, more warm than others or more interested in this. You really want to be asking questions in your Facebook group to figure out what people are interested in, right? And who are the ones that you really need to follow up with. So that's really the tip number 3, is follow up, and having a system in place to follow up. And your CRM is a great way to do that, or you can do a spreadsheet or whatever that looks like for you, right? If you're wanting more tips on that, definitely feel free to reach out. If you are struggling with any of these pieces of your business, I love looking at whatever you've got going on, and you've probably got many of the pieces in place, right? Many of us feel like, oh, I started this, but nothing is working together, right? That's really where I come in and can really have a 30,000 foot view, right? It's hard when we're in our own business. We get kind of deep in the weeds, and it's hard to see that bigger picture. And that's really where a coach can come in and give you that perspective of getting all the pieces working together. I love looking at what people have created, and oh, you started a Pinterest, oh, you started a freebie, you have a newsletter, right? Let's get all these pieces working cohesively so that everything is working as one system, right? And is more effective, because we can get kind of piecemeal with a lot of the things. Oh, someone told me to build a website. Oh, someone told me to do, you know, and we can get kind of down different rabbit holes, but sometimes it's not all working together. And that's really where I come in, is to help you get all those pieces working so that it's an automatic system that is working, right? We really want to make sure that it's effective. You're getting the leads you want every single day. I always try to work towards getting 5 to 10 leads for you every single day in your Facebook group or with your newsletter. That is really the goal. If you're wanting to get 5 to 10 leads every single day, definitely just say strategy below. I would love to offer you a free social media audit or a group audit if you have a Facebook group, and check where are some gaps, right? Where are some places that you could just tweak it a little? You probably have many of the pieces that most successful business owners have. It's just maybe a little tweak here, a little tweak there. And that's really hard to do on your own, right? If you've been doing the same thing for years and it's not quite effective, it's time to do something else, right? It's time to make a little bit of a change to make sure that it's effective. That's really what we want, right? You don't need more followers, you need leads. You need paying customers, you need more clients. That's really the goal. Coaching can really be helpful, right? I always say coaching is in 3 ways. There are 3 main benefits of coaching, right? And that is mindset. It's really hard on your own to stay motivated all the time or stay in that higher abundant mindset all on your own. And number 2 is accountability, right? Is following up with your goals and making sure that you're staying on track. Again, we can get pulled in a bunch of different directions, especially with free content, right? Free content, it just happens with the algorithm, right? What pops up for you. And you can get pulled in a million different projects. Oh, now I've got to focus on this, I've got to focus on this. But if it's not all working together, it can be really hard to have a cohesive system that's working effectively for you and your particular business, right? So a one-on-one coach can really help you customize and make it specific for your business, right? Every business is unique. Every business needs a little tweak differently here or there. And you've focused on different things up until this point, right? So you might have different pieces than another business owner in the same niche as you. So it's just about getting the right pieces working together in the right way, and what works for you and your schedule and your system and your life, right? That's the goal, is to get something that is easy and automated and working for you. So that's really the goal with coaching. And the third piece of coaching that I think is really important is sales, right? So many of us business owners and women, I think in general, we're either told that we're bad at sales, or we just get this kind of message in society that we don't want to be salesmen, so we think we're bad at sales, right? And I just think that is not true at all. I think we all need sales skills. I think it's learning different skills and different strategies, and many of us have not had proper training, right? We have degrees. Obviously, I was an engineer. We never got any sales training in engineering. I wish we would have. And directly out of college, I was asked to be a marketer in every single engineering firm I worked for, right? Because I was a woman, I must be social, right? So I was asked to be the marketer in every single engineering company I worked for, and I wish I had more skills. I really do. So I really think that's an important piece, and something that I teach in all of my coaching: sales skills in order to be effective. So many of us don't want to talk about what we offer, don't want to talk about prices, and there's a way to not be salesy, right? That's really the point, is nobody wants to be salesy, but we all have businesses. We all want to sell and be effective at it, and that's part of it. We just need different sales strategies and skills that feel aligned with us, right? Nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody wants to feel like a sleazy salesman, right? Nobody wants to be pushy, and that's really important, right? We just need different skills to figure that out and be comfortable in our own skin about that. So those are things that I think coaching is really helpful. I know that it has helped me in my journey. That I always say that coaches, the big secret is that coaches use other coaches, right? I've had different coaches, and I think it's really important for every coach to get a different perspective on their business. So that's really where I come in. If you're looking for more strategy or feeling stuck in your business and wanting a whole system that can be effective at your lead generation, feel free to reach out or just say strategy below. I would love to offer you that one-on-one free call where we can look at your social media profiles, we can look at your Facebook group, whatever you have going on, and figure out what is going to move your business forward. That's the goal. All right, I think that is it for today. I always like to say, right, if you are stuck in that posting and hoping strategy, don't waste years like I did, right? I made all the mistakes so that you don't have to. Don't waste years posting and hoping. This is the summer for women. This is the year for women business owners. I am here for it. We are all going to grow together and be successful. We rise together. So thanks so much for coming, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise,